Hello, my name is Alice. I am 42 and I'm from Canada. I wanted to share today a little bit about my experience with Sanacion. I was in Ecuador last February 2023, and I learned that Ecuador has this respect for nature and plants, and it made psychedelic ceremonies more accessible as well. So I chose to do a San Pedro ceremony with Sanacion first. It was the first time I met them. I had never done San Pedro before, but I do have experience with psychedelics, so it wasn't my first time doing psychedelics. I've done mushrooms and DMT before, and I already knew that Ecuador for me was the right place because they do respect plants, nature in a different way. So when I was originally looking for an ayahuasca ceremony and someone recommended Sanacion, I saw that they have a San Pedro one, so I started with that. I started with the San Pedro ceremony. I went with a friend, and it actually lasted almost 24 hours. We first got there, we took a little San Pedro, and then we went for a walk to really feel connected to nature. And being in Ecuador, in the land of volcanoes, and doing San Pedro was absolutely magical for me. One of the things that I wanted to let go of as a fear, because intention is very important when you do psychedelics of any sort, was to let go of the fear of falling, which I had at the time. And I remember when we were coming back from our hike, I won't tell you too much because everyone should enjoy it and discover it on its own. I remember seeing the beautiful nature and the volcanoes and everything moving and really feeling connected to nature. There were horses there too, which were, something beautiful to connect with. And I remember walking back to the ceremony for the evening, where most of it then took place, and we took more San Pedro. I remember walking and trusting that, I don't have to look down at my feet. I don't have to be scared. There was no fear. I really felt like the universe was going to take care of me, that I was exactly where I'm meant to be, doing exactly what I'm meant to do. And a big part of that, no matter what psychedelics you do and who you do it with, is understanding your source of fear and not letting it take over the experience. Understanding that fear is a normal part of who we all are as human beings. And as I said, fear is an important part of us as human beings. It's a survival impulse. It's meant to keep us safe. But what's really meaningful and really transformational with psychedelics is understanding that letting go of that fear will take you to a place of surrender and joy that you've never experienced before. Because as long as you're afraid, you will never make space for that kind of love and joy in your life. And the connection that you feel to nature and to all other human beings through San Pedro, that love and that is infused within you, it's something you can take with you and understand that you can feel free in the simplest ways, without having anything special, without money, without really any creature comforts. And you can always tap into that source of love and connection that we all have as human beings with ourselves, each other, and nature. So I think for me, the San Pedro was really lovely. It was, I will never forget the volcanoes, the mountains, the nature, and how it made me feel. I really felt part of the whole history of the universe. And integrating later for me, everyone integrates differently, but for me, I really took away that love. I put it inside me, and I always remember when I go through something difficult to remember that this moment doesn't define me, and I felt an immense eternal love within me, and that love doesn't go away. It's always there when I need it. Because I really felt safe and enjoyed doing San Pedro with Sanacion, as soon as the ceremony was done, I decided I'm going to come back for a private ayahuasca ceremony. I personally didn't want to be surrounded by people puking during ayahuasca and listening to their letting go and purging. I wanted to be more special and personal, so I chose to arrange it separately, and I highly recommend that as well. It's not that much more expensive. And I actually, luckily and serendipitously, ended up finding another friend who had never done psychedelics who wanted to join. So we were actually two women, one who had never done any, so she had a lot of questions. I helped her answer, as well as Sanacion. And together we had a very beautiful night of ayahuasca. Everyone has a very different experience, so don't ever compare yourself to anyone else. What really matters is the internal work that you do before and after the ceremony. So for me, before the ceremony, I really had to set an intention of why I'm doing this. Someone called, I think, Sanacion called ayahuasca the CEO of psychedelics, and I will have to agree. I've done pretty much most psychedelics out there, and I will say that ayahuasca is by far the most potent medicine that you will encounter if you choose to surrender to its power. It's like choosing to surrender to the love of a mother. It's not always going to be perfect, but it's there to give you what you need when you need it. So for us, two people together with Sanacion, we had an amazing night of ayahuasca. It's not going to be easy. Don't expect it to. It's not meant to be easy. It's meant to bring up things that you're too scared to face on your own. But it is done with the love of a mother. And that is what you should always remember about ayahuasca. That is the great mother. And for me personally, as soon as the visions kicked in, I felt welcomed into the home of the great mother, the great jungle, which ayahuasca is an expression of, and the medicine of the jungle. So for me, it was a very positive experience. Again, you will have to accept what you are shown, what you are told. If you resist it, you will make it harder on yourself. The medicine is there for you, and it's really about what you do with it. If you choose to do something positive with it, you will carry that love for the rest of your life. If you are choosing to run away or be scared and repress what you've been told or shown by the great mother of the jungle, then you will make it worse for yourself. And something that's really powerful throughout the whole ceremony, no matter how many bitter things we swallowed throughout the night, was to remember to be thankful. So always saying thank you is actually one of the most powerful things that we don't think daily, but even when you're having a hard time, accepting and saying thank you will help you release, let go, and only keep within you that which serves you. So for me, ayahuasca was probably, I smile like I've had the best night of my life every time I think about it, even though it's been 7 months since. I will never forget it. I will always hold the love of the great mother within my heart, no matter how many times life throws things at you and human beings disappoint us. The great mother is always there for us, and that love that you integrate and you carry in your heart, it will be infinite if you let it. So I highly recommend it, but make sure you're ready to surrender, to let go, and to be thankful for this opportunity to be held by the greatest love of life. And for me, Sanacion, Juliette and her husband were wonderful. They were firm, but they will guide you in the way you need to be guided. We're not children. We don't do this as children. You're not going to be coddled. You're not going to be, babied. That's not what this experience is. If that's what you expect, go to a spa. Don't go to do ayahuasca anywhere. I felt very safe throughout the whole experience, and I really loved sharing it with another person. We both had extremely different experiences, and in the morning, Juliette was able to guide us and give us some insight into what we saw. But ultimately, it's very personal, and what's most important is to feel safe. And we both felt very safe, and we would definitely do it again.